Good afternoon. Today we're taking a look at the next generation Gigabyte motherboard, the Z97-SOC force. This motherboard runs the next gen chipset from Intel, the Z97 chipset. It's still running the LGA 1150 socket, so it's still compatible with 4th generation core processors like the 4770K, but it also supports the 5th generation core processors, the Haswell refresh. That's coming out at Computex, which is in about a month's time. It'll also support the Broadwell CPUs, which we'll hear more about in the future. But for now, we're going to do an unboxing of this motherboard. Just going to take a look around the board first. It is actually quite a nice box. Gigabyte have gone into a lot of detail. Just not like it's an amazing box and that's what sells the board, but it kind of does. When this is on a store shelf, it's going to stand out. So on the side, we just have some details. On the other side, there's nothing much. On the back, we've got a ton of stuff that we can talk about. So this motherboard, obviously, is full ATX. The standout features, it's not worth going through everything. We'll actually have a picture of this. You've got the standard CPU power connector. You've got 8 fans. Well, you can actually have 8 fans on this board. But the special standout feature here is SATA Express. SATA Express can go up to 10 gigabit, so you're looking at about a 1 gigabyte a second transfers, which is absolutely insane. You've actually got a couple of, or 3 of these connectors on the bottom of the motherboard itself. On top of that, you've got the usual overclocking features to the side. OC brace for 4-way video, 4-way GPUs like Crossfire and SLI. You've actually got killer NRC on here, so you've got good sound baked into the motherboard itself, and you've got 4K display output. So on the board, we have support here for 4th and 5th generation core processors, one PCI Express 3.0 16-time slot, followed by 1 at 8 and 2 at 4. So for output on video, you've got D-sub, DVI, and HDMI. You've also got DisplayPort. For audio, you've got optical digital output, and you've also got the standard 8-channel HD audio through 3.5mm jacks here to the right. You've got a legacy Ps2 port in case you still want to use Ps2 mouse or keyboard, or if you're an overclocker and need that. 4 USB 2.0 ports, 4 USB 3.0 ports. Let's take a look. I actually haven't opened this out of the box yet. I've only had a look outside the box just before we open it. You actually get to tease the box, or tease the board itself inside. So as you can see here, I really like that touch that Gigabyte have done here. They've actually shown off a board that's completely frozen with liquid nitrogen. It's really cool. Reminds me of Terminator 2, which is a nice touch. As you can see, the board is there inside. So we're going to take a look at it now. So as you can see here, you've got a nice carry handle. The box comes out quite easily. Let's open it up. Now, this motherboard for me, I don't review motherboards, but I'm going to be using this motherboard as a kind of like a brother to my Asus Rampage 5 Black Edition, or Rampage 4 Black Edition, I should say. So this board I'm going to be putting my 4770K on, and then I can do some comparison tests on multi-monitors and multi-GPUs between the 4930K 2011 socket and the 4770K in 1150. Once a 5770K, if that is coming out, we don't know yet. Most likely it'll be called something like that. Then we'll do comparisons between 4770K, that new CPU, and also the 2011 socket. So we'll just put the board just to the side just for 2 seconds to take a look what we've actually got in the box. So we've got the OC brace that we were talking about before, and a bunch of SATA cables in the box. Sorry. So you've got 4 SATA cables there. You've got a Crossfire adapter. You've got an SLI adapter. You've got the backplate down here. You've got some headers for fans and overclocking, that kind of stuff, and then you've got the actual user's manual, and then you've got a bunch of other guidebooks in different languages, and a cool sticker, if I can pick it up with one hand. Yep, so a cool sticker. It's cool to see Gigabyte with a sticker these days. I like that little touch. Gigabyte Ultra Durable built in. So that's the motherboard out of the box, or the accessories from the motherboard box, and the motherboard itself. So it doesn't look any different to any other motherboard on the market, pretty much, and any other Gigabyte board. I do like the Gigabyte continuing with their black and orange theme here. It does look quite nice in person. One thing I would recommend when using or buying this motherboard is trying to buy some suitable RAM, so orange and black memory. That would really suit this. I think it would look really, really cool once it's set up. As you can see here, we've got the 1150 pin socket, which will be compatible with current generation and next generation Intel core processors. We've got killer NRC on board, but we've got branding here, Crossfire and SLI. The 4 PCI Express slots for video cards. We're going to do 4-way video cards. A couple of legacy PCI slots in case you have an old sound card or you've got an old RAID controller or something like that. The usual array of connectors for system fans, COM ports and stuff down here. And then on the rear, we've got all the ports that we were talking about before. So you can connect a bunch of stuff up to that. The killer NRC is probably the standout here. I think that's a really good addition from Gigabyte. It's going to be great for gamers or people with high-end networking setups to have a decent networking connection there. And then you've got a bunch of the usual overclocking functions, which a lot of the boards have got on a lot of the Gigabyte boards these days. You've got you can turn DIMMs off individually, which is a nice feature, and PCI Express slots, so you can actually just flick one or two of them off. And then, so for example, you could flick, say, PCI Express 2, 3, and 4 off, which will disable 2, 3, and 4, and only one will run. So if you've got 4 video cards in there, you don't need to manually disconnect them or disconnect the power out of them or anything like that. You can just manually turn them off directly from the motherboard. So this is just a quick unboxing and a quick talk about the motherboard. Sean will have a review up on this as soon as possible. So this is just a quick tease. I will be using this motherboard, like I said before, for multi-GPU and multi-monitor testing. This is going to become my new default motherboard. I'm actually quite excited to test it to see if there's going to be a difference between Z87 and Z97. So we'll see how things go. Before we finish this video, I forgot to cover the Sata ports. Even though we talked about them before, you want to see them in person. So there you can see you've got the normal Sata ports here, and then these are going to be your Sata Express 10 gigabit ports. So what we're going to do is we're going to be testing these 10 gigabit ports. Personally, I'm going to be testing just some basic stuff on this board with two drives in RAID 0, and then we might see how we go from there, whether we can scale it up and do 4 drives in RAID 0. I'd like to see what we can get with that. Again, this board and this chipset with Sata Express will be better covered by our consumer storage editor, Chris Ramsayer, so be sure to check back for that. And Sean Baker's review on the Gigabyte Z97-SOC Force.